What is up guys, hope you're fine and welcome to this project. So in this project we are going to make this portfolio website for Amy. So she is a fictional character, this Amy character, as you can see here. So we are going to build a portfolio for her, and this will be the hero section. And here, as you can see, that we have our left side, we have our information, in the right side we have her photo, and we have some animation going on here. If I refresh, as you can see that the animation, so it's looking good. And we have this button here, and we have these two buttons actually. And if I scroll down, as you can see that I have this my second section of the portfolio, which is the services. And as you can see that we have this nice services section. So after that we have this testimonial section, as you can see, which is looking good. And after that we have the stats for Amy, and we have nice cards for that, as you can see. And also we have a about section, which is also looking good. If you notice the heading, you can see that there are some outline behind the actual heading text. If you can see, it's a subtle outline, so which is actually making this heading really good. And also the design is, as you can see, it's actually really awesome. And finally we have the projects for Amy, and if you can see that we have this hover effect here, and also we are having a overlapping layout here. And as you can see, those projects here, which is fine, looking good. And in the end we have this nice footer. As you can see, we have the social icons, we have the contact info, and the important links, and we have all the things in the footer, which is actually perfect, a nice footer. So now let's go to the menu, which is actually really a cool thing that we have in this project. So if I open the menu, now as you can see that this is the normal menu. If you can see here, we have a close button, we have our menu, and we have our the options, means the menu or menu items, I mean, here. So if I hover one of the item, you can see that there is a if you can see that in the right side there is actually outline, which actually changing according to our hover, so which is actually really awesome thing that we have here. I really like that, if you can see here. So that's what we have for our menu. If I go to my next page, this is a two-page project, one for the whole landing page, as you can see that, and second page only we have for the contact. So if I go to the contact page, so that's the contact page that we have here. If you can see that the same style heading, and the hire an inquiry, and we have this information and also social icons, and in the right side we have the actual form, which is actually looking really nice. So that's what we are going to make. We will make this project with HTML and CSS, and also we will use a little bit of JavaScript, not much JavaScript. We will actually write only few lines. The main purpose of this project is actually HTML and CSS, not JavaScript, so you don't need to worry about that. So that's what we are going to make in this project. And if I go to the inspect to show you the responsiveness of the website, as you can see that that's the mobile version of the website. You can see that we have the colors for the mobile version, but whenever I will go to the desktop version, there will have no color. The color will have whenever we will actually hover in the desktop version, but in the mobile we don't have hover option. So that's why I just thought that we should actually keep the color as a default. So as you can see that all these things are really responsive, and it's actually looking nice in our mobile device, if you can see here. So everything is perfect. I think this will be a great fun to make this whole project with you guys. So I hope you will like this idea to make the project for a fictional character, and that's what we are going to make in this whole project. So let's actually do it. Also, if you wanna get some interesting tips and tricks about web design and development, you can follow us on Instagram. The handle is instagram.com/web_CIFAR. Also, if you face any kind of problem with this tutorial, you can join our Facebook community group. We have a great and helpful community and you can post your problem there. So with that saying, let's get started. So for today, we are going to make this hero section, and in the part 2, maybe tomorrow or whenever I will find the time to upload the next video, we will actually go to the next section, which will be the services and testimonials. So we will actually do it part by part, and I will upload it on YouTube and you guys will have it there. So that's the idea, and this is the part 1 where we are going to make the hero section. So for the code editor, we are going to use Visual Studio Code. So you can come here. So the URL is code.visualstudio.com, and you can come here and install Visual Studio Code, or you can use any kind of code editor if you want. So I will use Visual Studio Code, so that's why I prefer to use Visual Studio Code if you want to continue with me. So after that, if you download Visual Studio Code from here, just install it. It's a pretty straightforward installation. So install it, and after that, let's actually create our project file here. So let's create a folder with the name of project AMI. So that's the name of our project. So let's open it. So let's create 2 more files in this folder. So the first file that we need is the index.html. So index.html, and after that we also need a style.css file. So once we have these 2 files, so let's open it with our Visual Studio Code. So what we can do, we can just right click the project file and open this with our Visual Studio Code, or you can just drag and drop this file into your Visual Studio Code, something like that. So both will open the project file in our Visual Studio Code, and here as you can see that here is my file index.html and a style.css. So first of all, in my index.html, so let's create a boilerplate here. So for creating a boilerplate, you can create the boilerplate easily with the emit. So in the Visual Studio Code, you have emit by default. So which makes your life easier, means you can write your HTML very quickly. So to have a quick boilerplate in HTML, you can just create the boilerplate with exclamation sign, and after that, as you can see that emit abbreviation, and you can hit enter or tab. So these will create this simple HTML boilerplate. So let me increase the font size here, not like that. So the font size is okay, I think. And after that, here in our HTML, so first of all, let's change the title here. So let's say that AMI's portfolio. So we just changed the title, and after that, let's actually test our website here. Let's say that h1 hello world. And after that, we need to open this our HTML file in our live server to see what is actually done here. So to open it in a live server, you can install a extension from here. So go to this extension tab, as you can see here, and search for live server. And this is the extension. As you can see that I already installed it. If you don't have it, you just can install it from here, and once you have it or installed in your Visual Studio Code, you will see this little button in this down corner, as you can see, or you can do right click and open this with live server. As you can see that that's the option. So click that and it will open this file in your default browser, as you can see. So I can see my hello world text, and also I can see my website title in this top corner, as you can see here. So it is doing well, as you can see. So let's actually set it here and set this one here. Now everything is ready to go. So let's also open the final project, means the end product of our project. As you can see that this will be the end product of this whole website, as you can see that. So let's open it side by side so that we can get direction what we need to do. So first of all, for now we will create this hero section. So let's start with this hero section. So here, as you can see here in my HTML, let's actually remove this one and let's start with a comment. So let's say that this is the hero section and this will be the end of hero section, and between this comment I will have my first section, which is the hero section. So let's create a section with the ID of hero. I think I should do a little bit lower font size, so I think this will be fine. There will be no problem, I hope. So section with the ID of hero, and inside this section I will have a div with a class of container, and inside that I will have two div, one will be the left and another one will be the right. So let's actually explain you here, and as you can see that that's the hero section, and here if I do a separation here, we can separate this whole section into two parts. This can be left and this can be right. In the left side we have our information and in the right side we have our image. So that's why I just did two div here, as you can see that one for the left and one for the right. So in the left side, actually let's have the information here. So in the left side I will have a paragraph with the class of subheading, and here I will just say that I am Amy. So also after that let's have my heading. So this will be our main heading, so let's have a class of heading, and inside this h2 I will have my heading, which will be this heading, as you can see that pixels with purpose. So let's actually have this. So I will have a animation here, as you can see that if I refresh that I will have this animation. So that's why what I need, actually I need to wrap this each of word with a div here. So let's wrap each of these word with a div. So here I will just create a div with a class of wrapper, and inside that I will have a span, and inside this span I will have my pixels, means the first word, and I will do similar for the next two word, which is the width, and the last one will be the purpose. So if I come to my project, as you can see that these are the words, as you can see it's doing its job. And after this h2 let's have a paragraph, and here I will have my paragraph, and let's say that we'll have a class for it. So this will be the description, so that's why description DESC, and here I will have my text. So I will not have much text, I will have some normal lorem ipsum inside that. As you can see that will be enough for this text. And after the paragraph I will have my button. So if you notice that I have two buttons, one is this regular button and another one is this play button. So for that I will actually wrap those buttons with a buttons div. So buttons, so inside this buttons div I will have my button. So let's create the first one, and for now let's create a depth link, and let's have a class which will be the primary class, means primary button I mean. And here inside that let's say that get started. I think instead of get started I can actually say to see my works. We can actually link it with the projects. I will actually think about it, what we can link with this button, but for now let's actually keep it with this see my works thing. And after that I will have my first SVG button, which is this play button, as you can see. So let's create this one. So for that I will have an anchor tag and I will have a date link. And for the SVG, we can actually go to heroicons.com, and here for play we can search for it, and as you can see that that's the SVG. So copy the SVG one and paste it inside your this anchor tag. And if I save now, as you can see that that's the huge play button, but we don't want that. And if you notice that in this SVG, what we have is we have some path here. As you can see that that's the path and this is the second path. And if you notice here, both of this path have a stroke width of 2, and also here as you can see that a stroke width 2. So we don't want this stroke width 2, and we can actually keep it 1. I think this will be fine. As you can see that it's now a little bit thinner, which is looking fine. So let's style it. This is the left side information. We need to add the image in the right side. Let's also actually add the image in the right div here. So I think we will need the image tag for that. So let's actually get the image. Right now we don't have the image. Let's actually get the images here. So here is you can see that all the images that I'm going to use in this project. As you can see that these are the all images. You don't need to worry about these images. You will get these images also with this code in the GitHub. So don't worry about the images or the code. You will get it from the GitHub. So let's actually get our profile image that we will have in our right side. So let's link it. So which is inside my image folder, and I believe this is the profile.jpg. And also let's say that Amy. And if I come here, as you can see that that's the image, but the image is, as you can see, that too big. We need to resize it. So let's go to our style. So here, first of all, let's link the style sheet CSS, and we can actually say that style.css. So it's now linked with this style.css. Now let's actually do some styling here. First of all, on my style, what I want to do actually, I want to get the fonts. So let's go to fonts.google.com. So in this project we are going to use two fonts. One is the Montserrat. So from the Montserrat we are going to use 700. So this is a 700, and also we are going to use 900. Select those font, and after that we are going to use Roboto Mono font here. So let's search for Roboto Mono. So that's the font, and from Roboto Mono we are going to use 300 and also 500. And finally we are going to use Poppins. Actually 3 fonts we are going to use in this project. Poppins, yeah, that's the font, and from here we are going to use 600. Yeah, so once we selected all the fonts that you are going to use in your project, you can come here and copy the import tag for all of your fonts. So copy the import tag and paste it in your style.css. Now you can actually use those fonts in your project. So once we have this in our project, what we can do actually, we can apply it. So let's go to our HTML here, and let's say that a font family. So default font family that I want is the Roboto Mono. Roboto Mono. And if you want, you can actually make a sans serif as a fallback. So now you can see that the default font family is now Roboto Mono, which is actually perfect. And also let's actually have a default font size 10 pixel, because we are going to use RAM and M unit in our CSS. So for the base font size we are going to use 10 pixel. So as you can see that everything is perfect. Now default font size is 10 pixel and default font family is Roboto Mono. So after that, let's actually do some global style here. Means as you can see that first of all we need to remove the unexpected gap that we have in our HTML element. So for that, here we just can, let's do it here, universal selector, and let's say that the padding will be 0 and the margin will be 0, and also let's say that box sizing will be the border box. And as you can see that there will be no extra gap anymore, as you can see. So let's actually do a comment here. So these are the global styles that we will have. And after that, let's actually have some variable for my colors. So let's say that variables, and we will create those variable in the root. So primary color that we are going to use. So let's actually copy this color and paste it here. So this will be the primary color of our this project, which is this purple color. So as you can see that in our end project we have this primary color, that's the color. And let's actually copy rest of the color from here and paste it here. So as you can see that those are the colors that we are going to use in this whole project. So after that, let's go to our body, and let's say that the background color will be our this body background color. So to call it, we just can say that bar, and inside bar we just can say body bg, which is the name of this variable. And if I save, now you can see that in the background we have this subtle off-white color here. So good. And after that, first of all, we need to resize this image. So for that, I just can say that, so in our global style, we are actually creating this image resizing, because I want to have this resizing for all of my image. So let's say that any of my website image will have a width of 100% and the height of 100%. So which will make sure that we will not have the image outside of my window. So perfect. And after that, let's actually have a global style for my anchor tag here, as you can see that. So for each of my anchor tag, first of all, we want to have a color of black, and also I don't want to have any kind of text decoration. That's the common thing that we want for each of our anchor tag. So none. So as you can see that now the color is black and there is no text decoration. So after that, let's actually come here and do my hero section style. So let's do a comment here, and let's say that hero section, and inside that I will have my hero section style. So first of all, let's actually get my hero ID, and let's say that the height will be 100 VH and the width will be 100%, and also let's say that the padding in the top will be 10 rem. So as you can see that we have this minimum padding, which is the 10 rem, and the height is actually 100 VH, but we have content which is actually going outside of this 100 VH, but we will fix it, no problem. So after that, let's go to the container. So hero.container container, and here let's say that the display will be flex, and align items will be center, and justify content will be also center. So now as you can see that whenever I used this flex, everything now is now inside of this flex, means this is now a flex children, means this left and this right are now a flex children, this right. So the both left and right are now flex child, so they are now in a row. But if you want, you can change the flex direction, and we will actually get into it a little bit later, but let's actually keep it like that, because we want like that. We want the left in the left and the right in the right side. So now we have this left in the left side and we have the right in the right side, but the layout is not complete yet. So I want this left div, as you can see that this div don't have enough space, so I want to increase the width of it. So for that, I just can select it. So hero, inside the container, we can actually select the left and say that the flex will be 6. So let's actually duplicate whole thing and say the right will be 8. Now as you can see that we have a flag 6 for the left, and we have flag 8 for the right side, which means the right side is actually a little bit bigger than the left side. So it's looking good, but I need to do some more style in my container. So let's actually do it here. Let's say that I want to have a width of 90% and the margin will be 0 and auto, and the max width that we will allow is 1000 pixel. And if I save now, you can see that now it's looking much better. Now we don't have our this content in the left edge here. Now we have some space, because as you can see that we said that the container will have a 90% width, and the maximum width that we will allow is 1000 pixel. As you can see that this will not go outside of 1000 pixel. All the content will remain inside 1000 pixel. So this is good thing. As you can see that that's what we are going to use in each of our section. We are going to use the similar thing in our hero, in our service. As you can see that everything is now in container. So we are going to use this container thing in each of our section. So that's why let's actually keep this style, means this last 3 line, in a global style. So cut it from here and come here in your global style and say that whenever I will use this container, I will have this style. No matter where I will use this container, whenever I will use container, I will have this style. So that's fine. Now we will have the style here. So after that, let's actually style my information in the heading. So I have a subheading. First of all, let's actually do the style for it. So hero left dot subheading, and let's say that the font size will be 1.8 rem, and the font family, not font family, sorry, the font weight will be 500. The font family will be the default one. If I save, as you can see that the font size, it is not actually correctly grabbed, I think. Subheading, oh, I think I misspelled that. Now it's actually perfectly grabbing the subheading, as you can see. So after that, let's say that I want to have a text transform uppercase, and also let's say that the color will be the primary color that we have. So primary color, the variable. Now you can see that the color is now primary color. So after that, let's actually go to my heading. So hero left heading, and here let's say that in our heading I will say that the font size will be 6 rem, and also the font family will be the Montserrat, and also you can use a fallback sans serif. Now you can see that the font family is now is Montserrat, and after that let's say that the font weight will be the bold one, means the 901. And if I save, now you can see that we have a bold font weight here. And after that, let's actually go to the description here. Hero left description, and here let's say that the margin top will be 2.5 rem, and also max width we want to have it about 400 pixel, and if you can see that it's having a 400 pixel. Let's actually, let me check it here where this description, perfect. So let's actually say that the font size that I want here is actually the default one, which is the 1 rem. So the font size, I think instead of 1 I can use 1.6 rem. Yeah, it's looking good. I think instead of this 1, I think it's better. So this will be perfect for our this description, 1.6 rem. And after that, let's say that the color will be the secondary black that we have in our variable. Good. So after that, once we are done with the description, we can go to now these buttons here, as you can see. So hero dot left dot buttons. Margin top that we will have here will be the 3rem, and also let's say that display will be flex and align item center. We are doing flex here because as you can see that if I scroll here, they are actually staying side by side, so that's why I want to make it a display flex. So after that, display flex, align item center, and justify content will be the flex start, means in the left side, and also let's have a gap of 2rem. So as you can see that we have 2rem, but I don't have any kind of my second button, which is display button. I can't see it because we don't have a width for this SVG. So let's say that for the button SVG, hero left dot buttons SVG, I will have the width of 50 pixel, and now I should see my button here, as you can see. After that, let's also say that the color of this SVG will be the primary color. So let's have my primary color here. So now as you can see that it is primary color. So the SVG is looking fine. I need to style this primary button. So let's actually style this primary button. So hero left, and here I will have my buttons, and inside that I'll have my primary button. So primary dash btn. So here I will just say that for my primary button, display will be inline block, because by default every anchor tag is display inline. So background color I want to have is my primary color because that's the primary button. So as you can see that the background is primary color. The color will be the white, and also let's say that the font size will be 1.8 rem. Yeah, we need some padding here. So padding 0.6 rem and 1.6 rem for the this one. The second one will be for the left and right, and the first value will be for the top and bottom. And if I save, now you can see that that's the button. I think instead of RAM I should use M. This will be M, sorry. So whenever we are using M, which means actually it's actually depends on the font size of the element. So in the element means in the button we have a font size of this 1.8 rem. So now whenever we are actually using this M, now the base font size is actually this one. So that's why it will be increased, as you can see that. So if you have any kind of confusion with this RAM and M, you can let me know. I can make a separate video on this RAM, M, and all the CSS units. So after that, let's say that the border radius will be 50 pixel. Yeah, now as you can see that now it's a capsule size. Yeah, as you can see that it's looking good. The button is fine, and we have these two buttons side by side. Perfect. So now what I want to do actually, you can see that this is the button, and if you notice that this button is actually will be used in many places. As you can see here, we have this button, same button, same button, same button. So we will use the same button in many places. So what I want to do actually, I want to make it a global style because we will actually use this button in future in many places. So let's actually copy this whole thing and paste it in my global style. So in the end of this global, let's actually have it and remove the selector. We will actually keep only the primary button, means whenever I will use this class, the style, this style should be applied whenever I will use this primary button class. So it's looking good. And also let's do it for our buttons, because in future we will have group buttons, means as you can see that here we will have group buttons like that. So these will have the same style that we have in our this group button, means this style, as you can see. So also cut this whole thing and paste it in your global style here. So also remove the selector here, as you can see that. So now we have this primary button, now we have these buttons, and also we have this SVG. So whenever we will use the buttons class, we will have all the style that we defined here. So that's will be good because we are going to use this in many places. So perfect. I think we have done with the left side. Now we need to work on this right side, as you can see. So here down here, let's actually go to our right side. So hero in the right, and let's say that text alignment right. And if I see after that, let's say that dot hero, not here, sorry, that's not SAS, dot hero, and dot right means the image we already have inside this one. So let's grab it and say that the width will be 100%, and the max width I will allow is 450, means 450 pixel. Now you can see that this is now a little bit smaller, and we used text align right, so that's why it's actually aligned in the right side. So after that, the height is actually 600 pixel. Now as you can see that now we have a small size here, and also let's say that the object fit will be the cover, and also object position will be the 50% and the 30%. Now you can see we have the object position in the 50% and 30%. This is actually a similar thing, almost similar thing that we use in background position. So whenever we use background position, center or top bottom, so these are the similar thing almost. As you can see that if I will change the Y value, let's say that 10% or 90%, you can see that now the image is actually a little bit up because I said that the position will be in the bottom for the Y axis. So that's why it's going a little bit down. So if I want to give my default one, which is 30, as you can see that now it's actually in a perfect position. The face is in the perfect place, I think. Yeah, good. I think it's looking perfect. And after that, let's have a border radius here. So border radius will be 12 pixel. Now you can see that the border radius is actually good, perfectly fine. So I think there are something that I'm missing. Let's actually open the inspect here, and that's the body, that's the hero section, that's the container. This one should be in the middle of the viewport, but it's not in the middle of the viewport, but it should be. I think I'm missing something here, so let's actually check it why it is not in the center. So we are having this flex container, and I think we need to give it a height of 100%. Yeah, I think we need to give this height of 100%. So that's why it's not getting in the middle of the viewport. So now it's actually perfectly fine, as you can see. So after that, let's actually make it responsive. So let's actually do our first media query here. So media only screen, and max width 768 pixel. So whenever we will be inside of this range, I want to decrease the, first of all, the HTML here. So the font size will be 9 pixel, so which will be a little bit smaller. And if I go to here and actually go to responsiveness, so now as you can see, if I go inside of this 768, the font is a little bit smaller, which will affect the whole website, as you can see. So after that, I will go to my container. So hero.container, and let's say that the flex direction, I want this now in column. And as you can see that now it's in column, the text in the top and the image in the bottom, but I want the image in the top, so let's say that column reverse here. Now you can see that the image is now in the top. So after that, let's go to our right. So hero dot container, and here go to the right, and let's say that text align will be in the center because I want my image in the center. And after that, let's say that the flex will be 1, and also let's say that the margin bottom will be 2 rem. So we have now a little bit of space in the bottom. So after that, let's go to the hero container left, means the information. So here I will just say that text align will be the center, and also the padding right will be 0, and also let's say that flex will be 1, and the height will be fit content. And if I save now, as you can see that it's actually now in the center, but the anchor tag, it is not in the center. So to have the anchor tag in the center, let's go to the hero dot left and its buttons, and let's say that justify content center. Now you can see that it's now in the center. So after that, let's go to the heading. Let's actually change the heading style, because if I go to furthermore, as you can see that in the more small device, we need to actually adjust this heading. So here hero dot container and left, we have this heading. So heading, I think it's a class, so that's why we need this dot. So in the heading, the font size will be 4 and also let's say that the margin will be 0 and auto. Now it's looking good. And after that, let's go to the description here. So hero dot container dot left dot description, and the margin we will use actually 0 and auto, and after that margin top will be 2 rem. And if I save now, you can see that it's now looking good. And also we need to actually do a little bit style for the right image. So here let's actually grab it. So hero dot container dot right dot image, not dot image, sorry, the image tag will have a width of 100%, which is actually we already having. So height will be 400 pixel, so we will have a little bit smaller height, as you can see, for the mobile device. Good. And looking fine, as you can see. I think we can do one more breakpoint here in our 950. So here let's say that media only screen and max width 950 pixel, and here let's say that the hero dot container dot right will have a flex of 6, which will be a little bit smaller that we have before. So before we have 8, now we have 6. So now as you can see that we are now having a flex 8. Now we will have the flex 6, and whenever I will go to more further small device, as you can see that we will have this. But why I'm having this space here? So the problem is, as you can see that we have some space in between this left side and the right side information. So I think it's happening because we have 100% height in our container. So let's remove this 100% height. So now as you can see that there are no space anymore. So now there is another problem. As you can see that now the content we have here is in the top of our this section, but we want it in the center. So in our hero section, here. Let's say that the height will be, sorry, we already have the height. We need to display it as a flex, so I just can say that display flex and align item center and also justify content center. So whenever I will do something like that, as you can see that now it's actually doing its job. Now everything is now in center, and if I do 75, now it will look fine in every device. So now as you can see that, so it's, I think, looking perfect. Now what we need to do, actually we need to style on this heading, because as you can see that it's not what we want. As you can see, the heading is not looking good. So let's do some style. I already said that I have this wrapper here in the heading. As you can see that I have this deep wrapper inside my heading, because we want to have a cool animation, which is this animation. Let me show you. So this animation I want to have in my heading, so let's do it here. So in my style.css, I need to style those wrapper. So after the heading, so where is the heading? So here is the heading. So let's say that hero and left, inside the left I have the heading, and inside that I have this wrapper deep, and here let's say that display will be inline block. So by default all the div is actually displaying inline, so that's why we have the each word staying in the separate line. But whenever I will say display inline block, now as you can see that now pixels and these two words now are staying in the side by side, because they are now displaying as an inline block. So after that I want to make sure that the overflow is hidden, because I don't want to have the animation go out. I will show you, explain you why we are having this overflow hidden. And after that let's go to our span, which is inside this wrapper. So this is the wrapper, and inside that we also have this span. So let's go to this span. So here hero and left heading, so that's a class, and inside the wrapper I have this heading. Sorry, I have this span. So now for the span, the position will be relative, and also the bottom will be minus 70 pixel, and also the if I go, so if I do bottom minus 70 pixel and save, now you can see that I can't see it, because now we actually change the position of this word here, because as you can see that now bottom is minus 70 pixel. And if I now comment it out, this overflow hidden that we have in our wrapper and save, now as you can see that we can see our this word as you can see. So let me actually show you what is happening here. So whenever I will come here, and as you can see that that's the span, and as you can see this is the span, and that's the bottom minus 70 pixel. And if I increase that or decrease that, now that's how I'm actually changing the position of our word here, means the heading. So what I'm doing, actually I'm having a negative bottom here, so that I'm actually changing the position of our word here. And if I have a border here in my wrapper, border 1 pixel, solid and red. So if I have a border, now as you can see that these are the border for my word, each of word. And if I actually comment out this bottom, now as you can see that that's the border for our pixels, that's the border for our width, and that's the border for our purpose. So for these three word I have these three separate span or wrapper, as you can see. So whenever I am changing the position with the bottom minus 75, as you can see that everything is going down. Now what I can do, I just can say that the overflow will be hidden, means whenever the content will go outside of this box, means that's the box for the pixels. So whenever this pixel word will go outside of its box, we will actually display it as a hidden. So now as you can see that we can't see any of the word, because every word now out of its box. So now the purpose is now here, the width is now here, and the last word, which is the purpose, will be here. So every word is now out of its box. So that's how we can't see it, because as you can see that I said that overflow will be hidden for each of our wrapper. So now we can animate them with some simple animation here. So after the span, let's create some animation here. Keyframes, reveal, and here this will be simple animation. So for the 0%, I will just say that bottom. So initial state, in the initial state, the bottom is actually minus 70 pixel, and from this, in our 100%, we will get back to bottom 0. And that's it, and let's save it and apply it on our span. So here on our span, animation, animation reveal, and also 1 second is in out and forwards. And if I save, now as you can see that everything is animating. Good. Perfect. Now we can actually remove our border. Great, we have this nice animation right now. So it's looking good, and after that we also need to have the animation for the all the other text here. So this animation will be simple. We will actually animate them with our opacity. So for that, in our subheading, let's say that the opacity will be 0, and also in our this description, the opacity will be 0, or let's actually create the keyframe first for the opacity. So keyframes, and let's name it fade, and here let's say that in our 0%, the opacity will be 0, which is the initial value, and in 100% the opacity will be 1. And let's actually apply it in our subheading first, and after that we will go on. So in our subheading, let's say that the animation will be, the name of the animation is the fade, and 0.3 second is in, and for the forwards, it will go forwards. So if I save, now as you can see that it's actually happening too fast, but we don't want to have this fade animation whenever we will refresh. We need to wait. So if you see this animation in our end project, so the animation will actually happen whenever we are finished with the heading animation. So for our heading animation, if you can see here, for our heading here, how is the heading? Yeah, this is the heading animation. So for our heading animation, we will actually need 1 second. So we need to have a delay of 1 second in our this fading animation. So in our fading animation, we just can say that animation delay will be 1 second, and if I save, now it should be fine. Not here, sorry. If I refresh, now it's okay. So we need to do the same thing, copy this and paste it in the description and also in the buttons. So I can't see the buttons, so let's actually grab the buttons here. So it's in the hero, in the left, the buttons, and paste it here. So we will have this fading animation in these 3 object, means in these 3 element, actually in these 3 elements. So it's working perfectly fine, as you can see. So now we are done with our hero section, as you can see that. I think now we have this pixel perfect, and let's also check this in the mobile device how it will look. So if I refresh, yeah, good, as you can see. Let's also check with this one. Yeah, great, as you can see that. That's the hero section, and here I think what I need to do in the last here, as you can see, in each of our section we will need this display flex thing. So in each of our section, means in the service section, in the testimonial section, in each of our section, I want to have this display flex, align at center, justify content center, because as you can see that if we have this section, we want our content in the middle of the section. So that's why we need to have these things in each of our sections. So let's actually put these things in our global style. Here let's have the section. So whenever we will have a section, we will actually have this thing automatically. That's it. I think we should keep it in the top here, because that's a, so that makes sense, because as you can see that we have the section, after that we will have the container and all the other elements. Yeah, perfect. I think we are done with the hero section. So that's it guys. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to share it with your friends and family. Also, if you want to watch more video like this one, please subscribe the channel and also turn on the notification bell so that you can get notified whenever I will upload my next video. So my name is Arfan and I will see you in the next video. Till then, bye bye, Khuda Hafiz.